Hey, how's it going guys? ZDEyE here. So today I definitely wanted to talk about this. So basically there's been some rumors, and again, since this is a rumor, you have to take it as a grain of salt. This is not a confirmation. There has been talks regarding the next, or I should say a new Final Fantasy game coming. Will be that exclusive to the PlayStation 5, and in fact it's going to be more based on RPG. So there has been rumors coming from Naftra, hopefully I'm not butchering the name. He mentions that the next original Final Fantasy game will be coming to the PlayStation 5 exclusive, and also it's going to be an RPG take. So he's expecting that we should see something about this at the E3 2021, or at least during the the PlayStation conference. Okay, so if that's the case, we obviously may see it even at the Square Enix conference. I don't know if that's actually how it's gonna go, but still. After that, few days more recently, of course I should say, French leaker by the name of Souls Hunt also kind of expanded on this leak. He mentions and gives extra information that apparently this game is directly inspired by Dark Souls series. And so it's going to be very interesting to see, at least personally to me, how far of a take that this game may be able to go for, or how big it's going to go, right? On top of that, he mentions as well that the developers, the team that are working on this, is Team Ninja. If you guys do know who are Team Ninja, they're actually the developers of Neo and Neo 2. On top of that, the more recent Neo Remastered. So after I have already experienced Neo 2, the remasters, I got the platinum trophies on all of them as well. I greatly appreciate their work because I seriously love their work. I seriously love their games, and I cannot wait to see what they do next. Now we do already know that there has been no talks regarding of the next Neo 3, right? They have mentioned, they even were pretty much open about it too. But it still raises the question, what is their next thing that they want to be doing? And so that's why I'm very intrigued about this. Final Fantasy, to me personally, at first was never really something I had to get down and actually play it, right? My very first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy VII Remake. And so I have so enjoyed this game that I went for a platinum trophy, and probably made a bunch of reviews about that, a bunch of videos too. And then afterwards, I have given a shot and played Final Fantasy 15. Got the platinum trophy in that too. Really have enjoyed the game, even though I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the Final Fantasy 7 remake. I did try Final Fantasy 14, the online one. That game was just, it's borefest personally to me because it's an MMO. I'm not really into MMOs. And so, I don't want to keep grinding it for like 100 to 200, maybe even thousands of hours all over again just to upgrade my characters and stuff like that. Yes, I do know Final Fantasy 14 is in a fantastic spot at the moment and still is. And yeah, it's going to be extremely exciting to see how people are going to be taking into this Final Fantasy of a Dark Souls inspired. Because, right, if you take a Final Fantasy name, that it's already known, the IP and its genre, how it wants to be, and put in like a different genre, such as the Souls-like, wouldn't that kind of alienate a lot of Final Fantasy fans? Wouldn't that actually upset a lot of people too, that are Final Fantasy fans, right? Again, in my opinion, I think it's a fantastic move, but also, it's because I like the variations and I love the Souls-like games. I do like now Final Fantasy games, but again, not all of them. But seeing this and with this rumor, unfortunately, this is just a rumor. We may see it sometime at the summer of 2021, maybe E3 time, maybe during the Sony's press conference time, whenever that's going to be, of course. I want to see what Team Ninja are going to be capable of pulling through with the Final Fantasy. Are they going to keep the name, or are they going to come up with a brand new name? There has been some talks regarding something of a Final Fantasy Origins. Not too sure how does that apply to this, but anyway, yeah. So I want to see how far of a difference that this will go from Final Fantasy usual original titles, right? And how of a kind of a combination of a Souls-like game that you could be able to implement into the Final Fantasy. Since Final Fantasy games are usually known for very having a lot of the effects, a lot of flashiness, a lot of gameplay, and a lot of quirkiness too. It's fantastic in that way, for sure, in my personal opinion. And I want to see how Souls-like will be able to go with that route as well. Now, unfortunately, I don't know when it will be coming out. We have to consider that Neo, the first one, came out in 2017, and then Neo 2 came out in 2020. So it just raises the question, how long we'll have to wait for this announcement to come? Now, of course, we cannot deny that, for example, that Neo 2 could have been in the development during like maybe splitting apart the teams, and so one team was working on Neo 2, the other team was working on this Final Fantasy Souls-like inspired game. It still is a possibility, but considering as well that Neo 2 with the size and scope, I kind of doubt that we will have to expect this game soon. I actually think it's gonna be much later than we're expecting. I think that if we're gonna be realistically speaking, I think we need to wait at least a very minimum of another 2 years, maybe 2022, maybe 2023, for Team Ninja to get this game out of the way and actually release it finally to the public. But again, there's just been these talks and rumors. Maybe there's just like in a phase of a brainstorming and ideas, what they want to implement, but there's just simply nothing there in terms of the trailer or even a cinematic trailer or even gameplay, nothing there, right? And so maybe there's just been talks regarding that it is happening, but it is very far away from its release. Now again, I could be wrong. Maybe the scope is going to be smaller considering how Team Ninja wants it to be going. Maybe Sony, or I should say PlayStation, wants it to be released as quickly as possible for PlayStation 5 exclusively. Like I said, we don't know, but I still think 2022 or 2023 is more realistic approach for a team like this to be releasing their game, or at least a kind of a new genre type. Even though they are very familiar with Souls-like types, again, they have Neo and Neo 2 under their belt, so obviously they have experience with Souls-like genre. Maybe it's not going to be very too demanding for them to make the game as much even quicker than I'm expecting, but something about it that just doesn't tell me it's going to be releasing even in 2023, maybe even 2024, who knows. We're in 2021 right now. 2022, it's possibility. 2023, more likely. 2024 is perhaps the most realistic approach. That's just considering how big of a scope I'm thinking that the game is going to go with. Again, it's going to be interesting. That's definitely going to be exciting. I want to see what they got in plans, what they got in stores, and what they want to show it off, or what they want to do with this. Since, taking a name as a Final Fantasy, a lot of people are going to be angry, especially those Final Fantasy guys and Final Fantasy fans, and making a different type. That just depends on how people would like it to be. Personally, for me, I think I would rather this. But again, because I like Final Fantasies recently, and I always loved Souls-like games, this is just, plus and plus, personally for me. But that's just me. Alright guys, well then, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Tell me down in the comments, are you at least interested in this, or are you not? Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.